I watched her cry when I gave it to her. Not loud, not messy, the kind of soft, trembling emotion that makes you believe someone just saw their whole future in one perfect moment. She didn't even open the box right away, just stared at it. "Is this your grandmother's?" she whispered. I nodded. It was old. Rose gold, slightly dulled by time, diamond in the middle, a tiny date engraved inside the band. My grandfather had it made the year he proposed, 1961. He gave it to my grandma on a frozen lake, in the middle of a Michigan winter, after saving for 2 years working night shifts at a paper mill. That ring made it through a 50-year marriage. 3 kids, 2 wars, 1 funeral. And now it was hers. "You don't have to say yes," I said, "but you should know what it means if you do." She put it on without looking at the size. It fit perfectly. "Yes," she whispered. "Of course, yes." I proposed in my living room. No cameras, no viral moment. Just us, candles on the table, a home-cooked meal she barely touched because she was too busy staring at her hand. She said she wanted to call her mom right away. I told her to wait. Let's enjoy this for a second. Just us. She nodded, wiped her eyes, and leaned into my chest like she was anchoring herself to the moment. "You have no idea what this means to me," she said. I thought I did. I was wrong. 2 weeks later, we were at a friend's engagement party. She wasn't wearing the ring. I didn't say anything at first. Maybe she forgot. Maybe she was worried about losing it. I told myself 100 excuses. Until one of her friends pulled her aside and said something I only half caught. But it was enough. "Wait, is that his ring, or the other one?" Her smile collapsed. Eyes wide, panicked for just a second before she forced a laugh and dragged her friend away to the kitchen. I stood there, holding a beer I didn't want, replaying that sentence over and over. His ring or the other one? There shouldn't be another one. That night, while she showered, I opened her phone. She'd given me her passcode months ago, just in case. I never used it. Until then. Inside her photos, hidden under an album labeled Work Docs, was a folder of pictures. Dozens. Candids. Hotel rooms. Her hand on someone's chest, a ring I didn't recognize catching the light. Not mine. Not my grandmother's. She came out of the bathroom in a towel, humming. Stopped when she saw me sitting on the bed with her phone in my hand. Didn't speak. Didn't ask what I was doing. She knew. I said just one thing. "Take the ring off." She hesitated, then slipped it off like it was burning her, set it on the dresser, and walked out without saying a word. She stayed gone for 3 hours that night. No texts, no calls, no apology typed and deleted halfway through. Just silence. When she finally walked through the door, she wasn't crying. Wasn't apologizing either. Just calm, unnervingly calm, like she'd rehearsed what to say 100 times on the drive back. "I can explain," she said. I didn't answer. "It was before you proposed," she added. I ended it. It didn't mean anything. I reached over and picked up the ring she left behind. "Before I proposed?" I said. "You mean while we were apartment hunting? While we were touring venues?" She looked down. It was complicated. "No," I said. "It was simple. You had 2 men, 2 futures, and you weren't ready to choose." She sat down across from me, folded her hands like we were in mediation. "He proposed too. A week before you did." That was the first honest thing she said all night. She didn't even flinch. "And you said yes?" She nodded. Slowly, like she was trying to ease the impact by controlling the speed. "I thought I'd figure it out. Pick one. You don't pick a man like a dress off the rack. I didn't mean to hurt you. You wore my grandmother's ring while texting him good night." She said nothing. Because what do you say to that? I spent the next few days watching her unravel. She tried to act normal. Made coffee. Played music in the morning like she used to. Offered to cook. She even put the ring back in the box and left it on the kitchen counter like she thought I'd take it as a peace offering. I didn't. I locked it in a drawer. Because now it wasn't a symbol of love or legacy. It was evidence. I started digging. Didn't take much. His name was in her messages. In her email. In her ride history. Same hotel 3 different weekends. Same delivery address she once used to send me food when I was sick. She reused her excuses. Same lines. Same time blocks. Same smile. He thought she was exclusive too. I created a new folder. Not on my laptop, on a flash drive. Labeled it, The Other Life. Inside? Screenshots. Messages. Timestamps. Her full itinerary from the weekend, she claimed she was visiting her cousin. She didn't have a cousin in New Orleans, but she did have a reservation for two, under his last name. I wasn't angry, not in the way people expect. I was clinical, focused, because this wasn't just betrayal. It was a performance, one she'd been running with two audiences, and I was done being part of the show. I gave it a few more days, just enough time for her to think the worst had passed, that I was going quiet instead of going cold. She was softer now, measured, no more confrontation. Like she'd decided that if she kept her voice low, I'd forget she'd been wearing two rings and living two lives. She'd text me during the day again. Hope you're okay. Want me to bring dinner? I miss you. I didn't reply, not because I didn't have anything to say. I was just talking to someone else now. His name was Marcus. Not hard to find. She wasn't careful. The hotel bookings, the Uber rides, the one photo she forgot to delete, his arm around her waist, his ring on her finger, their smiles like a scene from a trailer to a life that wasn't real. I tracked him down in under an hour. Then I made the call. He picked up on the second ring. Calm. Curious. Hey, who's this? You don't know me? I said. But you know my fiancée. Silence. Then. Sorry, who? Her name's Emily. You proposed to her 2 weeks before I did. He didn't speak for a long beat. Then he hung up. I gave it 30 minutes. He called back. Tell me everything. So I did. I laid it all out. Timelines, photos, quotes. The full double life dossier. No embellishments. No emotion. He asked for proof. I emailed the flash drive. 10 minutes later, he texted one line. Holy mother. Turns out he was planning a wedding too. Different coast. Same script. She had registered under both our last names. 2 ring boxes. 2 versions of herself. One woman playing house like a con artist who mistook love for leverage. We came up with a plan. Not to fight. To show her we'd stopped being characters in her story. And she wasn't the narrator anymore. We picked a restaurant. Mid-range. Neutral. Public. I messaged her first. I need to talk. Dinner tomorrow. No yelling. No scenes. She agreed. Probably thought I was ready to forgive. Or worse, to fight for her. She had no idea Marcus would be walking in 5 minutes after we sat down. She wore a white dress. Not subtle. Not cautious. Like she thought this was a reconciliation dinner. Her makeup was light, but intentional. She'd curled her hair the way I liked it. Back when what I liked still mattered. She sat across from me and smiled like nothing had cracked. Thank you for agreeing to this, she said softly. I didn't think you'd want to see me again. It's not about what I want, I said. It's about what needs to happen. She tilted her head. I want to fix this. Yeah, about that. I watched her shoulders straighten slightly. She thought that meant progress. That's when Marcus walked in. She didn't see him right away. Not until he pulled the chair out and sat beside me like he'd been invited. Because he had. She turned white. Then pink. Then pale again. Marcus. Emily. She looked at me, panic flaring behind her lashes. What is this? Dinner, I said. You're the guest of honor. The silence was beautiful. The tension made the air feel weighted. Then Marcus laid it out. Every date. Every trip. Every message she'd sent him while curled up in my bed. He didn't yell. Didn't curse. He just recited. She tried to interrupt. He ignored her. She looked to me. I shook my head. Why are you doing this? She finally snapped. Because we were both in the same relationship, I said. You just forgot to tell us. She looked at Marcus. I was going to choose you. He smirked. I'm not a prize, sweetheart. I'm a man. And I don't share. She stood up. Fast, like the table had burned her. This is messed up. You played both of us, I said. We just decided to stop playing. You don't understand. No, Marcus said. You don't. She left. Didn't pay. Didn't apologize. Didn't even look back. The waiter came over a minute later. Should I cancel the third entree? Marcus nodded. I just laughed. No. Leave it. Let it get cold. We split the bill and shook hands in the parking lot like two men who'd just closed a business deal. There was no rage. No sadness. Just facts. And freedom. That was the last time either of us saw her in person. But her story? That was only just starting to fall apart. She didn't text me after the dinner. Not the next day. Not the one after. I think she knew there was nothing left to say. But that didn't mean the damage stopped. Because Marcus? He didn't just walk away. He posted. It wasn't dramatic, not at first. A simple caption. Turns out, I was one of 2 fiancés. She forgot to mention the other one. No names. No photos. But within an hour, someone tagged her. Then someone else commented. Then the screenshots started surfacing, the ones she'd sent him from our kitchen. The ring photos. The vacation selfies. The registries, plural. 2 wish lists. 2 shipping addresses. 1 woman. By noon, her followers started dropping. By evening, people were asking questions. Wait, weren't you engaged to someone else a month ago? Didn't you say you were getting married in Napa? Why are there 2 men tagging you in our future posts? She tried to lock her accounts. Tried to spin it. It was all a misunderstanding. I was confused. Grieving. Healing. No one bought it. You can't plead confusion with 2 guest lists and a hidden Pinterest board for each man. Then came her job. She worked in event planning. Weddings. Ironically. Apparently, a couple clients saw the thread. Started wondering if she'd double-book their vendors too. Emails went out. Calls were made. She lost 3 contracts in a week. 2 more followed. Then her boss asked her to step back and focus on personal matters. That was corporate 4. Get lost quietly. Meanwhile, I was quiet. Didn't post. Didn't comment. Didn't lift a single digital finger. I just watched her unravel in real time. She wasn't used to not being able to spin the story. She'd always been good at twisting the truth just enough to come out the victim. But now, every angle was recorded. Every lie had a witness. Every excuse had a screenshot. Mutual friends stopped replying to her. The ones she'd invited to both weddings didn't even know what to say. Because how do you defend someone who tried to marry 2 people at once? She went offline for a while. Tried to disappear. But the internet has a memory. And so did I. I hadn't even started yet. Because now, she was out of control. And I was just getting warm. I never planned to involve her family. At first, it felt unnecessary. Like dragging civilians into a war that was already over. But then I found the message she sent her mom. It was dated 2 days after the dinner. He ambushed me. Both of them. They set me up. I didn't even do anything wrong. Not a single ounce of accountability. Not a single fact in sight. That was the last push I needed. Her parents liked me. Or pretended to. Hard to tell, looking back. They'd always called me steady, level-headed, said I was a good influence. So I took that steadiness and sent them a package. No threats. No angry letter. Just the facts. A printed copy of her engagement photos, both sets. Screenshots of the messages she sent Marcus while she was in my apartment. Flight itineraries. And the best part, 2 screenshots side by side of the exact same message she'd sent both of us. Word for word. Copy-paste romance. I topped it off with a handwritten note. I thought you should know who your daughter really planned to marry. 3 days later, I got a call. Blocked number. I let it ring out. Then the voicemail came through. Her mother. Tired voice. Angry. No denial. I'm sorry. We had no idea. I don't even know what to say. I didn't need her to say anything. I just wanted the silence that followed. Word must have gotten back to Emily. Because for the first time in weeks, she reached out. An actual call this time. I let it go to voicemail again. You had no right to involve them. That was all she said. Not sorry. Not I messed up. Just outraged that her lies had finally left her control. She thought exposure only counted if it came from a headline. She didn't understand that the real consequence was having her father look at her like a stranger. Or her mother sitting in the quiet of their living room wondering what part of their daughter they'd never really known. She could block people. She could delete comments. She could vanish from the internet. But you can't unsend a folder of receipts to your childhood home. You can't unburn the truth when it lands in your parents' mailbox. The internet forgets fast. Families don't. I still had the ring. The one I gave her, my grandmother's. It sat in the back of my sock drawer, untouched, in the same velvet box she once opened with tears in her eyes. It was never hers. She'd worn it, sure. Flaunted it, maybe. But she never earned it. That ring was a promise, not just to her, but to my family. To the kind of love that had survived decades and meant something. She turned it into a prop. I didn't want it in my house anymore. Didn't want to toss it in the trash either. So I packed it up, boxed it carefully, patted it with tissue paper, wrote one line on the card inside. Some things are too sacred to waste on liars. No name. No signature. Just the ring and that sentence. But I didn't ship it to her. I sent it to her office. The one she was taking a step back from. Timed the delivery for a Monday morning, right as the team was rolling into meetings. Front desk signed for it. Handed it to her personally. She opened it in the lobby, right in front of the receptionist. Right in front of a vendor she once bragged to about her upcoming wedding. They say her hands were shaking. One girl said she almost dropped the ring. Another said she sat down and stared at it for 15 minutes. Nobody knows if she cried. I don't care. 2 hours later, I got a Venmo request. $2,400 ring appraisal. She included a single emoji in the note. Ring. I declined, then blocked her account. Later that day, I got a text from a mutual friend. A photo. It was the ring. Posted to her close friend's Instagram story, captioned, "Return to sender." Except she hadn't sent it. I had, and she knew it. But truth was never her strong suit. What mattered most? She didn't get to keep it. Not the heirloom. Not the narrative. Not the version of herself she tried to sell to two men who'd already thrown out the receipt. I'd taken the thing she wanted most, the legacy, and I took it back without ever raising my voice. It started with an email. Subject line, please. Just 5 minutes. No greeting. No signature. Just a line of desperation and entitlement packed into 7 words. I didn't open it. Didn't need to. What could she possibly say that would undo what she did? That would unsend every message, untangle every lie, unwrite every fake promise? You don't get 5 minutes of clarity after months of deceit. 2 hours later came the first text. You know me. You know that wasn't the real me. Right? The woman who juggled 2 fiancés across state lines. The one who called me her forever while making dinner plans with another man under a different last name. She wanted to sell this idea that some alternate version of her was to blame. Like it wasn't her fingers on the screen. Her voice whispering 2 sets of I love yous. Then she tried calling. 3 times in one day. Blocked number. Then a new number. Then no number at all, just unknown. I let each one ring out. Let her hear the silence she'd earned. The next day she escalated. Sent me a voice message through a mutual friend. He forwarded it reluctantly. Said she was not doing well, that maybe I should just listen for closure. I didn't press play. I forwarded it to a new folder on my drive labeled unopened. Let it rot there, unread, unheard. Because closure doesn't come from the mouth of the person who lit the fire. It comes from walking away while it's still burning and never looking back. A week passed. Then another. Then came the long email. Subject, the whole story. She used the full limit of the character count. I know because I checked the scroll bar and saw how small it was. Paragraph after paragraph. Begging. Explaining. Reframing. Excusing. She said I made her feel safe. She said Marcus made her feel alive. She said she wasn't trying to hurt either of us. She was trying to find herself. That part made me laugh. People don't find themselves between ring fittings and hotel checkouts. They don't accidentally build 2 futures just to avoid facing who they really are. She was never looking for truth. She was looking for options. And I had finally become one she could no longer choose. The email stopped. The text quieted. She faded. Not all at once. More like a frequency I stopped tuning into. A voice I once knew. Now background noise. Muted. Dead air. Some people think forgiveness is strength. I disagree. Sometimes, strength is knowing someone wants a response and never giving them one. People expected me to bounce back into someone new. That's what they always assume. That a man who's been betrayed needs to prove he's still wanted. That the only way forward is another woman. Another ring. Another reset. But I didn't want a replacement. I didn't want a new name in my phone or a new toothbrush in the bathroom or a forced smile across a restaurant table trying to pretend lightning strikes twice. What I wanted was clarity. So I started small. I replaced the couch she used to curl up on during our fake movie nights. Sold it on a local listing. Told the guy who picked it up, nothing wrong with it, just doesn't fit the space anymore. He didn't ask what changed. Neither did I. I took the photos down. Not out of rage, just necessity. Why keep reminders of a life she never meant to live? I shredded the guest list to a wedding that was never going to happen. Canceled the reservation for the venue. The woman on the phone asked if I needed to reschedule. No, I said. We're not doing this anymore. She was quiet for a beat, then whispered, You're not the first. I started waking up earlier, took longer walks, stopped checking my phone first thing in the morning, reclaimed my time, inch by inch, reclaimed my routines, no more dancing around her mood swings, her last-minute girls' weekends, her fake family visits that were really just cover stories for something shinier. The ring? The one she wore like it meant something? It's gone. Not sold. Not trashed. Just gone. Returned to the safe I'd pulled it from. Back into the velvet box, tucked away next to a photo of my grandparents on their wedding day. Because it didn't fail them. They kept their promise. She just never deserved to wear their legacy. I started rebuilding. Not with a partner, not with noise, but with silence. There's a peace that comes when you no longer have to watch your back in your own home. There's a freedom in knowing you don't owe anyone an answer anymore. I filled my place with things that were mine again. New furniture, clean walls, uncluttered air. And every night, I lit the same candle and sat in that quiet like it was armor. Because it was. The world wants men like me to fall apart. Quietly, without complaint. So they can shrug and say, he never really got over her. But I did. Because I replaced the only thing that mattered. Her voice in my head. Sometimes I still get the questions. From coworkers. From distant relatives. From the few friends who don't know the full story. So what happened with you two? You ever hear from her again? You think you'll ever give love another shot? I keep it short. It didn't work out. No, I don't. Maybe. Because the truth isn't for them. The truth lives in a folder on a flash drive in a drawer I never open. It lives in a wine glass that never clinked against another. In a ring box that was always heavier than she could carry. There's no rage left. No energy spent rehearsing what I should have said. I said it when I walked away. When I let her text go unanswered. When I returned her lies in a gift-wrapped box and watched her unravel in the court of public opinion. I never posted about it. Never blasted her name. Never warned the next guy. I didn't need to. Her own actions did more damage than anything I could have planned. These days, I move quiet. Mornings are slow. Nights are clean. No inbox full of excuses. No guessing where she is when her phone's off. No double takes when someone laughs like her in a grocery store. Just peace. Some people think endings need closure. That you sit across from the person who gutted you and ask them why. But I never needed her to explain herself. Because when someone shows you who they are and who they pretended to be, you already have your answer. She wanted options. She wanted attention. She wanted to be chosen twice. She ended up with neither. And me? I got my silence back. I got my self-respect back. I got my damn life back. That's not revenge. That's recovery. And it looks good on me.